Imagine a perfect morning, the 26th of December 2004. Families across the Indian Ocean are celebrating Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. Tourists lounge on pristine white beaches in Thailand, their skin warming under the tropical sun. Indonesian fishermen check their nets, preparing for another day at sea. In Sri Lanka, children splash and laugh in the shallow turquoise waters. The scene is peaceful, idyllic, beautiful. No one knows that in just moments, everything will change. At exactly 7:58 in the morning, deep beneath the ocean floor, the Earth does something catastrophic. What happens next will become one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. A tsunami so powerful, so devastating, that it will claim approximately 230,000 lives across 14 countries in a single day. This is the story of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, the hidden catastrophe beneath the waves. To understand what happened that morning, we need to journey to a place few humans have ever seen. Deep beneath the surface of the Indian Ocean, where sunlight never reaches, massive pieces of Earth's crust are locked in an ancient, violent dance. These pieces, called tectonic plates, are constantly moving. Usually, they shift just a few centimeters each year. Slowly, quietly, invisibly. But off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, something far more sinister has been brewing. Two enormous plates, the India Plate and the Burma Plate, meet along a fault line. For years, maybe centuries, the India Plate has been sliding beneath the Burma Plate, like one giant piece of the Earth trying to crawl under another. They've been stuck, building pressure, building tension, like a coiled spring compressed tighter and tighter, waiting to release. On that December morning, the pressure becomes too much. The fault line ruptures. In a single, violent instant, a section of the ocean floor measuring 1,300 kilometers long, imagine the entire distance from New York City to Miami, shifts upward by several meters. The earthquake that follows measures between 9.1 and 9.3 on the Richter scale, making it the third most powerful earthquake ever recorded by modern instruments. The ground doesn't just shake, it convulses, it tears itself apart, and the shaking doesn't stop. Most earthquakes last less than a minute. This one continues for nearly 10 agonizing minutes. Buildings sway, ground splits, people run into the streets, terrified. But the earthquake itself isn't the real killer. When that massive section of seafloor thrusts upward, it displaces an absolutely enormous volume of water. Imagine billions upon billions of tons of ocean suddenly pushed upward and outward in all directions, like a stone dropped into a pond, but on an unimaginable scale. The tsunami is born. Their invisible monster races across the ocean. Here's something most people don't understand about tsunamis. They are nothing like the waves you see crashing onto a beach during a storm. Nothing like the waves surfers ride. Out in the deep ocean, a tsunami might only be a meter high. You could be sailing over one and not even notice it. But don't let that fool you. This wave is moving at terrifying speed, around 800 kilometers per hour, as fast as a commercial jet airplane. The wave races across the Indian Ocean like an invisible monster. Silent, unstoppable, deadly. 15 minutes. That's all it takes to reach the coast of Indonesia. Just 15 minutes between the earthquake and annihilation. 2 hours to reach Thailand and Sri Lanka. And as the tsunami approaches shallow water near the coastlines, the laws of physics transform it into something truly terrifying. The wave slows down, but as it does, it grows taller, much taller. In some places, walls of water rise to 30 meters high, as tall as a 10-story building. But nature has one more cruel trick up its sleeve. In many locations, before the wave arrives, the ocean does something strange, something that will lure people to their deaths. The water retreats. It pulls back from the shore, exposing beaches that have been underwater for thousands of years. Fish flop helplessly on the sand. Boats that were floating moments ago now sit on dry ground. Coral reefs that have never seen sunlight are suddenly exposed. It's fascinating, unnatural, captivating. Tourists grab their cameras. Children run out onto the exposed beach, excited by this mysterious phenomenon. Local fishermen walk out to collect the stranded fish. They have no idea they have only minutes to live. When the wave struck, Indonesia is hit first. Being closest to the epicenter, it bears the full, unimaginable fury of the tsunami. The province of Aceh is devastated beyond recognition. Entire villages are simply wiped off the map, as if they never existed. In the city of Banda Aceh, the wave reaches as far as 5 kilometers inland, that's over 3 miles, destroying nearly everything in its path. Houses are ripped from their foundations like toys. Cars tumble through streets like leaves in the wind. Trees that have stood for decades are snapped like toothpicks. Of the 230,000 total deaths, approximately 170,000 occur in Indonesia alone. Then the wave reaches Thailand. Popular tourist beaches, filled with vacationers from around the world, become killing fields. In places like Khao and Phuket, people are still pointing cameras at the receding ocean, marveling at the strange sight. Video footage from that day captures the moment of realization. You can see it in their faces, the confusion turning to horror, the moment they understand what's coming. But by then, it's too late. The wave crashes into resorts, restaurants, and beachfront homes with the force of a moving freight train. Palm trees are uprooted, buildings collapse, people are swept away like debris. Nearly 8,000 people die in Thailand, approximately half of them tourists from countries across the globe. On the opposite side of the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka faces its own nightmare. A passenger train called the Queen of the Sea is making its regular journey along the coastal railway. Over 1,500 passengers are aboard, many of them standing room only. When the tsunami hits, the entire train is swept off its tracks like a child's toy. More than 1,700 people perish in what remains the world's deadliest train disaster. Sri Lanka loses approximately 35,000 people in total. India's eastern coast suffers catastrophic losses as well. The states of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh are hit hard. Fishing villages that have existed 4 generations are obliterated in minutes. Approximately 16,000 people die. The tsunami is so powerful that it crosses the entire Indian Ocean. Nearly 5,000 kilometers away, on the coast of Somalia in Africa, waves still reach heights of 9 meters. Over 300 people die, even at this incredible distance from the earthquake's epicenter. 14 countries, 230,000 lives, gone in a matter of hours. Stories from the edge of survival. Beyond the overwhelming statistics, beyond the numbers that can make us numb, there are individual stories. Stories of tragedy, stories of impossible survival, stories that remind us these weren't just numbers, they were people with names, families, dreams, and futures that were stolen in an instant. There's the remarkable story of Tilly Smith, a 10-year-old British girl on vacation with her family in Thailand. Just 2 weeks before the trip, her geography teacher had taught the class about tsunamis. When Tilly saw the ocean receding and bubbling strangely, something clicked in her mind. She recognized the warning signs. She convinced her parents something was terribly wrong. Her parents alerted security. The beach was evacuated. Because of one child's knowledge and quick thinking, that beach had 0 casualties while others nearby were devastated. Then there are the countless stories of parents who lost children, children who lost parents, entire families erased from existence in seconds. Survivors who spent hours clinging to debris in the open ocean, surrounded by the bodies of the dead, praying for rescue that might never come. A mother who had to choose which child to hold onto as the wave struck, knowing she couldn't save them both. A father who watched helplessly as his family was swept away while he clung to a tree. A young boy found days later, still alive, floating on a mattress miles out to sea. The tsunami made no distinctions. It didn't care about nationality, wealth, age, or innocence. Swedish tourists in Thailand, German families on holiday, local fishermen whose families had lived on these coasts 4 generations, all equal in the face of nature's fury, the failure that cost thousands of lives. Here's the devastating truth that makes this disaster even more tragic. It could have been prevented, not the earthquake, that was inevitable, not the tsunami itself, but the massive loss of life. Many people could have been saved. The Pacific Ocean has a tsunami warning system. It was established after devastating tsunamis in the 1940s and 1960s. When an earthquake occurs, deep ocean sensors detect it. Regional warning centers analyze the data. Alerts are sent out. Coastal areas are evacuated. The Indian Ocean had no such system. When the earthquake struck off Sumatra, scientists around the world detected it immediately. They knew how powerful it was. They knew it was in a subduction zone. Many suspected a tsunami had been generated. But there was no infrastructure to warn the coastal populations, no emergency alert system, no standardized evacuation procedures, no public education about the signs of an approaching tsunami. In the 2 hours it took the wave to reach Thailand and Sri Lanka from Indonesia, thousands upon thousands of lives could have been saved with a simple warning. A text message, a siren, anything. Instead, people walked on beaches, ate breakfast, swam in the ocean, completely unaware that a wall of water was racing toward them at the speed of a jet plane. The world failed them. Rising from the ruins in the aftermath, the global response was immediate and unprecedented. Countries around the world sent rescue teams, medical supplies, food, water, and shelter. Billions of dollars in aid poured in. It became one of the largest humanitarian relief efforts in human history. But money and supplies couldn't bring back the dead, couldn't reunite shattered families, couldn't rebuild communities that had existed for centuries. The disaster did, however, force change. An Indian Ocean tsunami warning system was established, with deep ocean sensors placed strategically across the seabed and regional warning centers set up in multiple countries. Today, if a similar earthquake occurred, millions of people would receive alerts on their phones within minutes. Evacuation routes are marked, drills are conducted, communities are prepared. The world also learned to read nature's warning signs. Those strange animal behaviors before the tsunami, elephants running to higher ground, flamingos abandoning low-lying nesting areas, dogs refusing to go near the beach. We now know to pay attention to these signals. And that retreating ocean, that deadly lure that drew so many people to their deaths, is now widely known as a signal to run to higher ground immediately. Don't investigate, don't take photos, don't wait to see what happens. Run. A legacy written in water and memory. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami remains one of the most devastating natural disasters in human history. 230,000 lives lost in a single day. Millions more left homeless, orphaned, traumatized. Entire communities erased from the earth as if they had never existed. But from unimaginable tragedy came crucial lessons about disaster preparedness, about the importance of education, about the power of nature, and about the incredible resilience of the human spirit in the face of suffering. Today, memorials stand in affected countries, simple monuments remembering those who were lost, names carved in stone, flowers left by survivors who still visit, still grieve, still remember. Survivors carry their stories forward, ensuring the world never forgets the day the earth shook the sea, and the ocean rose in fury against the land. The 2004 tsunami reminds us of a fundamental truth: we live on a dynamic, powerful, ever-changing planet. We are not separate from nature, we are part of it, subject to its laws, vulnerable to its forces. Understanding and respecting those forces isn't just academic, it isn't just interesting, it's a matter of life and death. And on the 26th of December 2004, that lesson was written in water, devastation, and the memories of those who survived to tell the story.